The printer ran for exactly 72 seconds before it stopped. It was 11:16 p.m. on a humid Tuesday in August 1977, and Jerry Emen was just trying to clear his desk at the Big Ear Radio Observatory in Ohio. He was looking at a strip of computer paper, a simple, dry printout of radio noise from deep space. But then his eyes landed on a sequence that made his breath catch. 6 characters, scribbled in red ink by his own hand, 6EQG5. It wasn't random noise. It was a structured, powerful pulse originating from the constellation Sagittarius. Before we dive into the math, understand this. In the world of SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, radio telescopes are constantly bombarded by interference. Microwaves, airplanes, even passing satellites trigger the equipment. But this signal was different. It occupied a frequency that is protected by international agreement, a narrow band of 1420 megahertz. This is the hydrogen line, the frequency of the most abundant element in the universe. It is the channel scientists believe any advanced civilization would use as a calling card. Think of the universe as a massive, chaotic party. Thousands of conversations are happening at once, millions of voices overlapping. The Big Ear was just a listener in the corner. For years, it had heard nothing but the static of distant stars. Then, for 72 seconds, the background noise vanished, replaced by a single, focused, and incredibly loud signal. It was as if someone had walked up to the microphone, cleared their throat, and whispered directly into the ear of humanity. The technical specifications are chillingly specific. The intensity of the signal was 30 times stronger than the background radiation of the cosmos. It was narrow band, meaning it couldn't have been a natural phenomenon like a pulsar or a quasar. Those are messy, wide-spectrum bursts. This was refined. Someone or something had engineered it. When Emen saw the printout, he circled it and wrote one word: wow. That name stuck, immortalizing a 72-second blip that has haunted astronomers for nearly 5 decades. But here is the detail that the textbooks often gloss over. The signal had a signature. It rose in intensity, peaked, and then fell away exactly as the Earth's rotation moved the telescope across the sky. This proves the signal was celestial. It was out there, sitting in the silence of Sagittarius. And then, it vanished. It never returned. Many have tried to debunk it. They pointed to comets, suggesting that the hydrogen clouds trailing behind 2.666P Christensen and 33035P Gibbs created the pulse. But that theory falls apart under scrutiny. The timing doesn't align with the 1977 coordinates, and the power required to produce that signal from a comet is physically impossible. The WOW signal remains the only candidate for a truly artificial interstellar message. Imagine the frustration of the team at Big Ear. They had a smoking gun, a clear piece of evidence that we are not alone, yet they couldn't find a return address. It's like finding a handwritten letter in your mailbox with no stamp, no return address, and no signature. You know someone delivered it, you know they knew where you lived, but you have no way to reach them. Years passed, and the mystery only deepened. Researchers pointed their antennas at the same patch of sky, hours, days, months. Nothing. Just the cold, indifferent hum of the stars. Some theorists suggest we missed the message because we don't have the decryption keys. We are like a primitive tribe stumbling upon a fiber optic cable. We can see it's there, we can feel the electricity, but we have no idea how to interpret the data streaming through it. Then, there is the shadow theory. Some hypothesize that the signal wasn't sent to us, but that we just happened to intercept a transmission sent between 2 distant star systems. We were the unintended eavesdroppers on a conversation that didn't involve us. If that is true, it implies a galaxy teeming with civilizations, all broadcasting at frequencies we are only just now learning to monitor. There is a haunting irony in the fact that we look for signs of life by listening for radio waves. Yet our own society is moving away from them. We are shifting to digital fiber, encrypted bursts, and light-based communication. If an advanced civilization stopped using radio centuries ago, we would be listening to a dead channel, waiting for a letter from someone who has already moved on to a different medium. Consider the isolation of the observers. In 1977, they were working in a shed in the middle of a field, surrounded by agricultural land. They were essentially isolated from the rest of the world, relying on punch cards and physical printouts. They were human, prone to fatigue and human error, yet they had the discipline to verify the data. The signal wasn't a glitch in the software. It was a physical interaction between the telescope's hardware and a beam of energy that traveled thousands of light years to reach that specific spot in Ohio. Could it have been a natural phenomenon we don't yet understand? Perhaps. There are exotic theories involving neutron stars or gravitational lensing that might explain the intensity. But every time a new explanation is proposed, it fails to account for the purity of the signal. It was as clean as a whistle, a perfect, artificial frequency. Maybe the most unsettling part isn't that we didn't receive a message. Maybe the most unsettling part is that we received it, and we weren't ready. We didn't have the technology to store the full raw data. We didn't have the computational power to map the signal's origin in real time. We were given a single 72-second window into the heart of the universe, and we spent the next 47 years arguing over whether we actually saw anything at all. Look at the stars tonight. Pick a point in the darkness and hold your gaze. Somewhere in that void, there was a point of origin, a source that flickered into existence for just over a minute and then turned away. If you were sitting there, watching the night sky, and you saw a light that wasn't supposed to be there, would you try to signal back? Or would you hold your breath and hope that whatever made that light hasn't noticed that we're looking? We are obsessed with the wow signal because it represents our deepest fear and our highest hope. It confirms that the universe isn't just vast, it's crowded. But if it's crowded, why is it so quiet? Why has the wow signal remained a solitary, lonely event? The silence is not empty, it is expectant. The signal didn't change our lives. It didn't bring us salvation or destruction. It just proved that the silence we feel around us is a choice, not a necessity. When you finally realize that the signal was a heartbeat, a single, rhythmic, artificial pulse, you start to wonder if we are the ones who are being studied. Maybe we aren't the hunters. Maybe we are the ones sitting in the cage, and the signal was just a test to see if we were finally smart enough to hear them. We failed that test, didn't we? Or perhaps we passed it, and the answer they sent back is currently traveling through space, destined to arrive long after we have forgotten how to listen.